I'm going to tell you all about some really helpful tools that you can use for calligraphy, minus the pens. Obviously, we know pens are #1 most helpful tool, but I have other tools that will help you as well. First, we are going to start off with just plain lettering guidelines. And I always say that never be too good to use lettering guidelines, because still to this day, I practice with guidelines because it just gives you a good baseline to keep all your letters straight. And so it's just a really helpful tool. And I actually have these lettering guidelines for free in my free basics course that I offer. It's over an hour of online video instruction, and you can get these lettering guidelines in the course under the materials section. So just make sure you go check that out. Also included in that free course, I give you these drills too, and the drills are really important, which are also on these lettering guidelines. So the drills will help you tremendously. So the next thing that I have that's super helpful is a tracing pad, or a light pad as some people call it. First you turn it on, and then what you can do is, this helps so that you don't have to print out multiple copies of, let's say you have lettering worksheets, or like these are just drills that you can do, but you don't have to print them out multiple times. You can print them out one time, put it down, and then put another sheet of paper over it to practice just on that one sheet of paper. And what I like to do to save myself space is, like, let's say I'll just start the paper right here and start doing the drills, and then when I've filled up this whole line, then I'll move it down here like that, so that it's like back to back to back instead of having a gap here like this, so you can get the most out of your paper. But this is just helpful even for like watercolor lettering. If you're practicing, you can use watercolor paper with this tracing pad and you can still see through it. So like if you want to practice with a brush and some paint with some watercolor lettering, you can put your lettering guidelines down first, and then you can just use your paintbrush on some watercolor paper and you can still see through it like that too. So another helpful tool that I have is this tracing paper. It's extremely inexpensive. This isn't the most high quality tracing paper, but hey, it does the job when all you're doing is just practicing anyways. So what I like to do is just rip out a sheet. And like I said, it's not perfect. Then I like to get some lettering worksheets. Let's say, I'm gonna go to the lowercase. I have a full lowercase page like this. So what you can do is you can put this tracing paper on top of your lettering guidelines. That way you don't have to, again, reprint this out multiple times. You can just practice over it. And sometimes even with this alphabet right here, I'll just print out the sheet individually so that it's not in like this huge booklet like this. And then I can just practice with the tracing paper over it so I don't have to keep reprinting it out. The tracing paper is nice because then you don't need that light pad that I just showed you, because you can already see through the tracing paper. It's very transparent. Just like that. Okay, so another great thing, just to have a pencil and some sort of eraser. This is called a kneaded eraser. It's squishy. You can like mold it into a ball or whatever shape. You can roll the end into a fine point so you can get small edges. It's great to have an eraser, and also to start out with just a simple pencil when you are starting to make a piece or a layout or anything that you're doing when you're first starting out. It's fine to use a pencil and draft it out first. Like, I used to start with a pencil so I could see if I would have enough room to fit a word within a certain amount of space. Nowadays, I have a better idea, but I still run out of space sometimes. So it's okay to use a pencil to kind of try it out. Like, let's say I wanted to write calligraphy. Now, also, when you are writing, you want to keep in mind that when you are writing with a brush pen and you have the thick downstrokes, you want to account for that amount of space because it's going to be a little bit wider than just with a pencil. So, and also when I am like sketching it out, I do not write super dark with the pencil. I don't push really hard because I do want it to be easier to erase. But just for the matter of showing you guys right now, I am trying to write just a little bit darker. So I'm just writing it to see how much space I'll have. And you can also see that I am not a straight writer when I write. I write crooked, I write up, I write down. And so my last tool will really help you with that. But yeah, a good old pencil is perfect, and an eraser. And like I said, I prefer these kneaded erasers because I feel like they're cleaner, and you can kind of even roll them onto the areas. You have to be gentle if you, let's say you letter over this with pen, because if it's not fully dry, you can smear your ink. So you don't want to create a whole piece and then just come in with the eraser and smear the whole thing, because that would be frustrating. Now, for the last tool, this is my good old Black & Decker laser level. So I have used this for a long time, and it's perfect because it can create a straight line for you without having to draw it on there. So now if I have this laser level and I want to write the word calligraphy, and it might be a little more difficult for you guys to see just because of the lighting. I have it pretty bright in here right now, but it's easy for me to see, so there's not a glare or anything. But it really helps you to stay on track and not be as crooked of a writer. And don't worry if you are, because I for sure am too. So, but yes, this is one of my favorite tools. It also has a magnet at the bottom, so if you wanted to stick it onto something magnetic, you can. It is used for really like household purposes, but us letterers use it otherwise. And yeah, it's just a perfect little pocket tool. It's good for addressing envelopes, writing. If I write something really long, I like to use this too, because after a while, my lettering starts to look like it's falling down a hill or going up a hill. So this really helps to keep it on track.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you found these tools helpful, and I will leave all the links down below in the description so you can find them for yourself.